Hello friend, how is it going? Welcome back to Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel. Here you can see 2005 Toyota Sienna CE, and the baby came here today for an engine oil change. This is that pretty common here in USA V6 engine, 3.3 liter. The model number 3MZFE, and it should be pretty easy task to change the engine and the filter, except normally we will always tell you change the oil when the engine is still hot, so most of it nicely flows out. Here the location of the filter, it's right here next to the front exhaust, so it's better if you wait a little bit when everything cools off, even if you are reaching from here or underneath. We will see how we will do that, so you don't burn yourself on this shield. That will be a nonsense. So let's pull as usually the engine oil dipstick a little bit out so we don't have possibly any vacuum. Here is the filler. You can see it will be 5W30. These are the sludgies. If you look inside, there's so much sludge. This is the typical sludge everywhere on the walls and so on. But in general, if you keep changing oil, they are running pretty good. So let's go and do that. And as usually, we will not just do the task, but we will talk stories. First time ever, the customer brought this vehicle. I was on the test drive and I'm driving over the bumps inside, and I hear that knocking sound from here. I'm like, oh my god, the window regulator must be completely disconnected from the window. Only after, when I arrived in the shop and was putting her on the lift, I saw this little detail. Look at it. The antenna, that rubberized part is missing, and all you hear inside is when you're going around. Can you imagine? So my worries were not correct about the window. It was the antenna without the presence of that rubber part. Once she's up, you will be able to see under. So as usually on the driver's side, that's a transmission pan. You hopefully can see in that opening that filter, which is down there, and the reach there, it's close to the heat shield rear. That's why I was saying be careful so you don't have a burn mark on your hand later. This is a dirt, but it's a fair warning for everybody. And our drain is right here. Before I will start draining it, let's see up there, just to show you, there's a pretty bad valve cover gasket oil leak. Do you see it? And obviously this V6, it's not so easy to work on, because that rear bank to get to it, which is bank 1, the rear towards to the driver is bank 1, it's hard to get to it. You have to remove completely that whole intake manifold and so on. So that's a labor bad job, and it's not cheap repair. Obviously when you do that, it's good to do the spark plugs too. So let's go back right here, 14mm. We will be draining this old oil. So here we go, 3/8 ratchet with 14mm socket, and that was just perfectly torqued, no problem with undoing that drain plug bolt. I will lift this a little bit higher so we don't do some splatter on that camera. And just by the hand undo the drain plug. And boom, here we go. Nice. You can hopefully nicely see that oil coming out. Yep. I had it dripping for a long time because meanwhile I was doing something else, so you can see there's absolutely zero dripping. I have a new crush washer, that gasket there, and I will nicely torque it. You want to be careful with that. The torque number is 39 Newton meters. Or if you don't have a torque wrench, you just don't want to crank too much on it. But if you don't have a torque wrench nice and snug, that crush washer will help to stop any leaks, and also that the bolt will not loosen itself. That means I can finally move this catching pan towards to the front, and I can try to reach in, and I hope this filter is not over tight, and I will be able to undo it without grabbing any tools. And I will be unscrewing that filter. And here is like a little helping area which directs, if you open it slowly, it directs the oil. It will not get on the frame and it will go inside of this pan. So I'll show it to you. Yep, it's slowly giving. Yep. And that's it. I want to show you. As the oil goes down, I want to show it to you. You can hear it finally. And hopefully you can see it running down there nicely in this pitching pan. So if you go slow, it will definitely not make any mess. You will not have oil all over that whole vehicle. And I'm carefully turning the filter off. I was wiggling it up and down, right and left, and the oil actually, I'm still turning it, holding it, turning it. The oil, you don't hear it anymore, it stopped dripping. So I will be able to completely remove it, which is right now. You will hopefully see it, it's right here. Now look at it. Oh, did I have to make the splash? Oh, Peter, what are you doing? It was very little. I'm trying to show you everything, and some of the oil splash out of the pan. Let's go look inside one more time, and hopefully you can see down there nicely that thread which you are screwing the new filter on. You can see the old and new side by side. So I will remove this plastic. This is just protective plastic so the dust and dirt doesn't get there. I will always use a little bit of the oil to lube that new rubber gasket. I'm ready to go inside, and here is the thread, and screw it back on. So here I go. I feel for the techs at Toyota, and it was me in the past. When you are in a hurry, they give you in the loop vehicle which is hot. It's actually difficult to avoid that exhaust, even that shield, and not to burn yourself on it. I have it nice and cold already. I was doing something else meanwhile, so for me it's not a problem. So the filter is perfectly installed. I will wipe off this area which was dripping that old oil, and we will be done here. So now it's time to enter new engine oil in the engine. But if you look on the detail of this opening where the cap was, I cannot use that screw-on funnel, which I always showing you in different videos. This is completely different design. And also if you look inside, when you are filling this engine, don't rush it, or you will spill that oil all over. Let me show you what I mean. So I tried many funnels for this engine, but this is what I'm using for this one. Flow Tool quick fill funnel 10718. I think this is from Walmart. I modified it here, made a bigger opening, and this is the angle which I'm using to pour it in, but you have to be slow. So what we didn't mention, this engine is taking 5 quarts exactly, so I have a 5-quart jug right here, but I will be pouring it slowly and observing this area right here, so I don't have an overflow of that oil. If you try to pour it too fast, I guarantee you it will overflow on you. Actually see inside around that opening, around that funnel, and I can see how that level is coming up. So that's a warning for you. If you wanna ever do it yourself, please don't create extra work for yourself, just rushing it. This pour might take easily 1 minute, it doesn't matter. Be slow. It's way easier to pour it slow than start cleaning when you will overfill it and the oil will be all over the engine. If you overflow, if you spill it, you will have to remove this cover because it will flow underneath it. It will be all over the front of the engine. You definitely want to avoid that extra work, unnecessary work. Now I've got there those 5 quarts. I can remove the funnel. I can put that filler cap back, and if I want, make absolutely sure that the oil is in, you can use the dipstick, wipe it clean. Then on the dipstick there are always top and low mark, so I will put it in, and the oil should be very slightly above the top, and that's correct. I hope you can see it. It's like a 2 millimeters above the top. So did I overfill the engine? No. Engine needs to be started, ran, and then you can shut it off. And if you will wait at least 5 minutes to check, to do the final check, the oil will nicely flow down, it will be dispersed, and actually that oil level will be perfectly on that top mark. So I'm pretty sure some of you will find this video helpful. If you liked it, give it a thumb up please, and make sure you are subscribed. I have way more coming your way soon. I will see you later, my friend.